What's up, guys?
All right, everybody, we'll start with Coach Smart. Please raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone around to you.
Couple days in so far, how has practice been this week?
Went great yesterday. I hate it when you change routine, but we didn't do anything with the players. Players didn't have anything to do Sunday, and they didn't have school Monday. And I don't know, historically, the years I've been here, Monday's not great at Labor Day because they lay around all day Sunday, and then they lay around all day Monday because they don't have classes, and then they come over here and didn't have a great day. But today was much better. I think maybe it had something to do with the weather. It's a little cooler today, and they were in good spirits. We had a good practice.
Yeah, Coach, I think I saw 13 true freshmen made their debut on Saturday against Clemson. What does that say about your program, and does playing time get used against you on the recruiting trail?
I don't know about playing time. I think we can disprove that with the guys that have started and played. It may get used, but it doesn't work very effectively because we have as many freshman All-Americans and as many freshmen play as anybody in the country. So I don't know how effective it is, but I don't know. I would be interested to see how 13 compared to other years. Obviously, the type of game you play in would dictate that. Meaning, last year we probably had more than 13 play because of the score and the differential. A couple years ago against Clemson, probably didn't have many. I know one that did, but I don't know many more than that one. But every year is different. It's not about. It's about their development. I think so many freshmen across the country right now are so caught up in, am I going to play? Am I going to play this week? Am I going to travel? What am I doing? Did I make the right decision? Because all they got to think about is the alternative of where I can go. And if you just be where your feet are and get better, you'll come out on top in the end.
Coach, kind of follow up on that. How much more are freshmen more ready to play now than maybe they were 5, 10 years ago?
Oh, they're not.
They're not?
I don't know. They're having to play out of necessity. They're having to play out of the fact that we got more transient rosters. I mean, they're not any more ready to play physically, mentally, that disposition. No, not many freshmen are. Let me say this: in our league, playing in our league, SEC to SEC, if you're playing with a lot of freshmen, you're in trouble because they're not physically developed. That doesn't mean one can't do it, but you don't want to be out there playing with a lot of freshmen.
Kirby, as you go back and watch the film from Saturday, what stood out to you about the way that Raylan played?
I haven't gone back and watched the film from Saturday since like Saturday night. That game's over and done. I'll speak about Raylan, but I can't tell you the first thing because I'm on and popping to the next one. Raylan worked really hard in camp. He had some struggles with cramping, and he wasn't able to finish some practices, and he missed a little time. Not really injured, just not being able to finish it up. And I thought that hurt his stamina in camp. And then the last week, he started playing better and better and better in practices, and then that carried over a little bit into the game. I think he's much more confident in the scheme. He's seeing things well. He had some nice plays Saturday. He's a really good athlete.
Yeah, to kind of just follow up on linebackers, you talked so often about how offense has changed, playing more in space. How has that changed how you recruit, I guess, inside linebackers specifically, as much as they have to play in space, cover tight ends, everything like that?
Yeah, it's a premium now it probably used to go, size, speed, toughness, keys, and now it goes speed, intelligence, space player, size, toughness. It just changes the order because it's a priority to have length. It's a priority to be able to match up and play in space. And you got to be able to run, cover down. I mean, you're in conflict every play. You got this gap, but you've also got to go play the bubble. You got to see counters, pulls, RPOs. It's absolutely insane how much you're having to defend now compared to 2012.
Yeah, what does Dan Jackson bring to this program, and what does it say about his ability that whether it's Malachi, a veteran, or KJ, whoever's at that other safety spot, he's able to keep that sort of secondary at that same high standard?
Dan's a product of toughness, the program. I mean, first of all, we're lucky to have Dan Jackson because we fell into it. We didn't do one thing to earn Dan being here. He came to us. us, and he has made himself into a really good football player. But he did that through hard work. He's proof that if you stick around and you have toughness and you're smart, you're gonna play. I mean, we got millions of examples of kids that have come here, have showed toughness, stuck around, and played. Cash, Prather, I mean, all these guys have done it. And Georgia has a long history of great walk-ons, and he's one of those.
Coach, I was wondering how Jordan Hall is doing now, and they say you're excited about his progress.
Yeah, they're both doing great, man. They were running today, flying around sideline like just running, not practicing, but running, straight line, cutting. I'm fired up. I know it was Sunday or Monday. I looked out my office, and 2 days run together because of Labor Day. But Jordan was out there smoking it across the field, and excited. He was up 5:30 in the morning, game day, rehabbing on his own, beat Ron in there, riding a bike in Atlanta. I mean, he is a different dude when it comes to rehab. He has attacked it and dove all in. I think he's probably a little ahead of McLeod. McLeod's dealing with a different muscle tissue type injury, and he also hasn't really ever had a significant injury. So, but they're both pushing.
Kirby, I want to ask you about non-conference games. I know you play Georgia Tech every year. Wonder with like a Mercer or Georgia Southern or another in-state school, why they haven't been on Georgia schedules when you have Tennessee Tech, you have UMass.
Not the slightest clue. Can't give you good input. I mean, the schedule I have now, as far as I know, I inherited it. If I didn't inherit it, and I'm lying to you, I don't know. I didn't go down the schedule and say, "Oh, let's go play Tennessee Tech over Georgia Southern or Mercer." I mean, I don't know. That's probably a better question for Josh Brooks.
Kind of on that note, I talked to Bobby Wilder today. He said he wasn't thrilled about coming down and playing Georgia in Sanford Stadium. Lost his quarterback this past weekend, and there's obviously those differences and everything. As you as the host coach, you've been outspoken about you want to help these programs out. You want to bring them in. How do you sort of balance that? You don't want to get anybody hurt. You don't want to embarrass
Does
anybody.
he still want the check?
He said he absolutely did. He said, but there's no other way really for them to do it than that.
That's my point. I mean, everybody can put me in a pigeonhole of, well, Kirby believes in these games, Kirby doesn't believe in these games. I believe in the sport of football. And if you told me that the sport of football is going to lose programs because they can't sustain without the financial help, then I want to support that. I also want the financial support of our fan base. And if you poll them, they'd rather play, Clemson, Notre Dame, every week play somebody. And I respect that too. I enjoy that. I coached in the NFL. I've been around those kind of leagues. I mean, I'm sensitive to both of those things. I just think that if we're going to lose football at a lower level because of financial reasons, I'd rather try to sustain those programs and keep them up. Which, by the way, the quarterback he brought in played really well too, and is a really good athlete. And I hate it for the other kid because obviously he was the starter.
Yeah, Coach, you can feel free to swap me away here, but do you dare take time to look at Kentucky this week at all?
Yeah, I don't have time. I don't. What I do is look at all the 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 plays in our conference, all the explosive plays in our conference, and the tape was extremely long, considering there's 60 and 70 point games out there, but it's not looking at anybody specifically, it's just what's going on.
I want to ask about a couple of transfers, Michael Jackson, Jake Pope, how are they coming along?
Both working hard, both doing good, both part of our culture and our program, doing a really good job of pushing and fighting for playing time.
Why were you looking at the short yardage plays? Some sort of trend, or is it just something you always do?
It's something I always do. I think it's important to, if I got to make the decision whether we're going for it on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, I want to know what's going on.
You mentioned the work that Hall and McLeod are getting this week. What are Janelle, Warren Brinson, and Michael able to do this week, and what specifically is it that Janelle is dealing with in terms of the pull?
Yeah, it's a soft tissue injury. Janelle practiced and did everything today. I wouldn't say he was 100%, but he practiced and did everything. Warren did some things, was out there, moved around pretty good. I would say that Jonell's ahead of Warren, but Warren's got a shot. Mike Hill's out there, watching our guys doing rehab, being in all the walkthroughs and things, but he's not participating.
Yeah, will Trevor Etienne play this weekend?
Again, we don't talk about it, so it's not something that I share and talk about. Respectfully, respect your question.
Yeah, it seems like I always taking bullets on this, but on the, going forward, the availability reports start
Right.
next week. So, if a guy is suspended, you have to declare somebody's in or out, right, by Wednesday. Will you, at that point, 'cause I think this past week, you might have told ESPN
I
that
didn't
Trevor
tell
was,
ESPN anything.
was
I don't talk to
suspended.
ESPN, so don't put words in my mouth, Jim. I didn't say that. You said I might.
Holly McGrath said that you said.
I
But,
haven't talked to anybody.
yeah, so I just wonder, I mean,
Not
you know,
giving
like if,
anybody any more information than I give you, so I don't tell them anything. But about as I understand the availability report, when it was discussed, there was a debate about whether you had to put that on there. I think you're talking about a non-injury reason to not be playing, like a kid's got death in the family and he's not going to be at the game. Okay, he's got to go to a funeral, or he's suspended. You have another category there that you have to report that they're not going to play. And there was a debate about that. I think it ended with you do have to put that, but there was disclosure to me and to several coaches in the SEC that were concerned about what the speculation will be. Because if you put them in that category, what are you immediately going to assume? That they're what?
Yeah.
That they're suspended.
Yeah,
And I
right.
don't think that's fair, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you could be an assumption that it's wrong. But I think you do have to disclose that in there. I'm not 100% accurate on that. We haven't had to worry about it because we're not to Kentucky week. And like I said, Ron's going to handle the entire injury part of that because I don't want anything to do with the injury part of that.
but following up on that, your impetus for not wanting to declare like it's a suspension or whatever, is it gamesmanship? Is it like you just don't want the
it's not
opponent to
gamesmanship
know?
at all
Or?
for me, it's a kid. It's a kid, his family. It's respecting. When recruits come in my room, they say, we respect the way you handle things because a kid takes enough drug through the mud, headlines, everybody puts it out there, and then nobody knows if it's wrong or it gets dropped or any of that. They never get to do that. I want to defend the kid, and to discuss it again and say it again, then it's another whole headline out there. So it's not gamesmanship in any way, shape, or form for me. It's just I don't want that for the kid. I don't want to have to go through that again. That's why I don't discuss it.
Thank you.
Coach, you emphasized that you try to instill toughness in your players early on. Were you pleased with what you saw from your freshmen in terms of toughness against Clemson?
I don't know. I didn't see. I mean, had a couple freshmen go in and get knocked off the ball. I mean, so no, I wasn't real proud of that. But I had some guy. I don't know that a freshman got to show toughness. Okay, there was not enough snaps. I mean, what freshman took the most snaps? KJ Bolden. He didn't have to show a lot of toughness. He wasn't up there in the trenches, and he had some nice tackles. He had some nice plays, but he didn't have to show toughness. You know, Nate Frazier had some nice holes and made some nice cuts, but he didn't have to show toughness. So, I mean, I respect your question, but I don't know how to answer it because I don't know that our freshmen had to show toughness.
Monroe was in there pretty early on Saturday. Just where has he grown the most since he arrived last year?
He's physically stronger, mentally in a better place, more confident in the system. I mean, we wouldn't put him in there and rotate him if we didn't have a lot of confidence in him. So he's going to continue to get better.
Curious what you think of the 2-minute warning or 2-minute timeout, whatever they're calling it.
I mean, I think it's an extra timeout. You know, like I've said repeatedly, I think it's going to get coaches more criticized. It's another thing that you can screw up, and you got to be really smart. I'm not talking about me now. I'm talking about you got to be really smart to not screw it up, based on the analytics and all the things. A lot of people just say, I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to play with my gut. But when you read all the analytics into it, it's pretty deep.
Yeah, Coach, do you have someone on staff that's sole job is to pay attention to clock news or anything like that, or is that
Yeah,
all?
we got 3 or 4 people on staff that do that, and I think it's really critical that you've got people covering your back.
Any more questions for Coach Smart?
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.